Good afternoon and welcome to the Respectability webinar for May 12th, 2017. My name is Philip Pauley. I'm the Policy and Practices Director of Respectability, and it is my absolute delight, my pleasure, and my excited honor to share with you our webinar today. We're going to be talking about the wonderful organization Best Buddies. And we're talking specifically about what we're calling the Best Buddies Difference, friendship and skills leading to success. As anyone who has been following Respectability for a while knows, we have several core partner organizations who we feel are doing transformative work in the lives of young people with a wide range of disabilities. Best Buddies is very much one of them. They are doing incredible work both around building friendships, but most importantly, translating those skills into employment opportunities. They've previously worked on their I'm In to Hire campaign, which is doing incredible work around employer engagement and job placement for young people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. They have been building lasting friendships between people with and without disabilities, which is really a really remarkable and really wonderful thing. If you're not familiar with them, their mission is to establish a global volunteer movement that creates opportunities for one-on-one friendship, integrated deployment, and leadership development for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Best Buddies represents their jobs program in particular represents one of the key mission pillars, which is integrated employment. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. But more importantly, I'm really excited because one of the people who's joining us today is actually a Best Buddies Jobs Program participant who is going to be talking to us about her experiences and how Best Buddies really made the difference for her. Joining me for today's webinar is Jessica Patton and Andrea Schonenberg. Jessica, Andrea, and Carolina, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Philip, and we echo your sentiments. We are just so very excited to be here today and to connect with the community for a really wonderful mission and purpose. So like Philip mentioned, my name is Andrea Schonenberg, and I'm the Senior Director for the Best Buddies Jobs Program, or Integrated Employment Program, as Philip mentioned. And here with me I have...
Hi there, Jessica Patton. I am the Director of the National Jobs Program.
And we also have...
Carolina Puig from Best Buddies International as Administrative Assistant.
Wonderful, and that's the Best Buddies team here today. So we thought we would start it off by talking a little bit more about what Best Buddies is and what is our mission. So like Philip mentioned, our three pillars are integrated employment, one-to-one friendship, and leadership development for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We're currently present in 54 countries across the globe and have presence in all 50 states throughout the U.S. And we'll delve more specifically into the jobs program. So to kick us off, we have a fantastic video here that'll give you a good idea of the support that we provide and the quality candidates we have within our program. If we could cue that video.
What is my potential?
If no one ever tells me I have any.
What are my dreams?
What are my dreams?
If nobody else can see them.
Can I be a translator?
Can I be a singer?
Can I ever be anything?
Some days I'm afraid I can't.
I feel alone.
But aren't we all afraid
and lonely.
and lonely some days?
I've been told.
What I cannot do.
But what can I do? I can listen to you cry when your dreams and your days don't match.
I'm a friend.
I'm a sister.
I can make you laugh.
When you need it most.
I am filled with love.
Now can you see my potential?
I can't.
I can't.
Because it has no boundaries.
When you think I've reached my potential,
I'm just getting started.
I will not just dance. I will translate for those who cannot hear.
I will make a living at the job I love.
And be valued as a true team member.
my fingers will glide across the piano, and I will fill your ears with song.
I will not just do a job, but I will do it with passion.
Are you someone who gets stage fright?
I'm not.
I'm not.
Are you afraid?
Are you afraid of what you can't do?
That's how everyone feels.
That's how everyone feels.
But I am not afraid today.
I am a leader.
I am a leader.
I am a leader.
I'm a leader.
Today is full of potential.
And for me,
And for me,
today
Today
it's just the beginning.
Wonderful. You know, we always say at Best Buddies we can never watch that video enough because it's such a compelling message of the great potential our participants have. So to break down some of our individual pillars, we did mention the friendship program, and that is focused on one-to-one friendships in middle schools, high schools, colleges, and for adult individuals where someone with a disability is matched to someone without a disability and form a natural friendship. And of course, this supports with building soft skills and really allowing individuals to excel in the community. Our next pillar is jobs, the integrated employment program, where we have supports from our program supervisors and employment consultants who work directly with employer partners in the community, focusing on professional type of jobs and ensuring that we're focused on competitive employment in the community. We have about 324 employed participants in the community, and we'll be breaking down a few of our stats later on. We also have the Leadership Development Program, where each individual with intellectual and developmental disabilities has the opportunity to develop leadership skills through different conferences we have throughout the year, primarily our conference at Indiana University in July, and they practice self-advocacy through speaking. And I'll shift it over to Jessica, who will discuss more information about our jobs program.
So as Andrea mentioned, we do focus on non-traditional employment, and we have, because of that, some criteria that our participants have to meet before they join our program. Our mission is to serve people with IDD, so our participants must have that primary diagnosis. They obviously have to want to work in the community, and they have to have a way to get to and from the job. We are not designed to serve individuals who have a major mental illness that's not controlled. They can't have any severe behavior problems, be active substance abusers, or lack the legal right to work. Our participants have to be independent in the community. So we're really proud of the statistics that we have for Best Buddies Jobs participants. We know that these are higher than the national average. Our participants make $12.20 per hour on average, and they're working a little over 22 hours a week. We have 363 employed participants, and right now we've got 203 of those participants, or 203 participants who are in job development. So this is the Best Buddies reach. You'll see these multiple colors show our different programs. We have programs in all 50 states, so we don't have offices in all 50 states. And you'll see the teal shows where our jobs programs are located. And here they are, a little bit easier for you to see. We have 18 job markets throughout the country. And our employment consultants and program supervisors are bringing in some really amazing employer partners. These is just a snapshot of some of those businesses and employers that you may recognize. We are really proud to have national partnerships who have hired across the country, multiple participants, and we also have local employers, small mom and pop shops, and businesses that are really reflect the communities that they're in. Now, there are several steps to employment for our participants as well as employers. So as we get to know our participant, we do have an introductory meeting with them where we learn their employment goals specific to their skills and their hopes and dreams. And then we start developing jobs with employers that match those goals. We'll have an introductory meeting with the employer as well where we explain the participant and their skills and see if it is a match. If we think so, we'll do a little bit further research and find more information about that position through our job analysis. And that is not just looking at hard skills, but it's looking at the culture, the environment, and the ideal attributes of the employee. It's really important for Best Buddies Jobs to make the right job match so that our participants and our employers are successful and satisfied. So once we have a good understanding of what the employer is looking for, we source talent. Hopefully we have someone in our current job development pool that is a good fit for that position, but if not, we'll go back to our referral agencies, give them the snapshot of the position and the ideal employee, and receive referrals. We'll then prepare them for the interview. So again, our participants have to be competitive with other people who are applying for jobs for that employer. Once a job offer is made, we do go back to that employer and offer a sensitivity training. We find that this is a really important part of the process so that employers, hiring managers, frontline supervisors, coworkers have an understanding of what Best Buddies Jobs is, the role of our employment consultant, their role in supporting their coworker and employee. We are there on day one to provide job coaching support, heavy support at the beginning as they're learning their skills, and we're building natural supports. And then as they grow in independence, we fade because our goal is independence on the workplace. Now, I'm going to share a couple of positions that we're really excited about, as well as one new employer partnership that we have with Albertsons Tom Thumb. Their focus is on non-traditional positions. So while we do have participants who work in courtesy clerk or front-end positions at grocery stores, when we partnered with Albertsons, we did so with the intention of finding some really interesting and unique non-traditional positions. One of those is the floral designer. This is a type of job that's typically not available to people with IDD. But it really should be. We have participants who have the skills to work in this position, preparing flowers, getting those plants ready, and designing the floral arrangements. Another position that we find to be really good fit for our participants is the produce clerk. We just had a participant hired to work as a produce clerk at Tom Thumb. It was really great. He has a culinary certificate, and this was part of his dream, was to work in food preparation and with customers in this position. Another really cool position is the deli clerk. So they're using all this equipment, and they're also, again, providing customer service to the customers that come into Albertsons Tom Thumb. And my favorite is the cake decorator. They get to prepare the cake, so they're mixing the cakes, they're baking the cakes, they're icing, and they're coming up with those decorations. And I just think some of these cakes are so beautiful. This, to me, is a really interesting and non-traditional position for somebody with IDD. So that was one of our national employer partners, but we also, like I said, work with small businesses in the communities where our participants live. So this is Adam, and you can see he's filing, but he works at a company called Guitar Nook. And the employment consultant that developed this position took a look at Adam and set really specific goals to meet his employment desires. So Adam loves music. But he has a lot of experience in office work. So we were able to merge the two, his personal interest in music and his experience in office work, by getting him a position at a local guitar store. This is David. He works at the Miami Marlins. And this was also really person-centered. He wanted something close to home, and this position is close to his house. He, in fact, really enjoys his commute. He is the longest standing person at the warehouse. He's a warehouse assistant. So you see him holding up 4 fingers. He just celebrated his 4th anniversary at the Miami Marlins. And again, he's the most tenured person at that warehouse. Here is Michael. He works for Princeton Place on Pointe in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, we partner with Project Search, and I know Philip told us that there was a recent webinar talking about Project Search and their program. We do have a Project Search in Albuquerque, and Michael was a graduate of that Project Search site at the University of New Mexico Hospital. So he went to the Project Search and had a lot of experiences working with patients and had a desire to continue that in employment. So now he works at this rehabilitation facility, and he's also working on getting his certification to be a CNA. Dominique works at the Mirage Hotel and Casino, which is a part of MGM Resorts International in Las Vegas. When you guys go to the Mirage and you check in at the front desk, you will see Dominique. She is a front lobby ambassador. Her job is to greet guests as they are waiting to be checked in at the front desk, help direct them to available agents, and make sure they have everything they need for starting off a great experience at the Mirage. And this is another really exciting, super cool position. Andrew works at Adams Balloons, and he also works in Albuquerque. If you guys are familiar with the October event, the Big Balloon Fest, Adam Balloons is a large balloon manufacturer, and Andrew has a really cool position in which he weaves the baskets, he measures the fabric, and he also does some quality assurance. They have to have very specific requirements to meet the FDA rules because this is a balloon that's up in the air. Very cool position. I'm going to pass on to Andrea.
Thank you, Jess. And these are just a few of the examples of some of the quality placements that Best Buddies conducts in different industries across the country. Now, our founder, Anthony Kennedy Shriver, recognized that we needed measurable, quantifiable data in order to promote the business benefits of hiring participants with disabilities. Now, the JOBS program has been around since 1994, and in the past, a big way or a compelling factor for several of our employers was a tax break or fundamentally hiring a participant or one with different abilities was really the right thing to do. But Anthony recognized we need to shift away from this stereotype because at the end of the day, it'll drive the bottom line of the business and it makes good business sense. So in October of 2014, our founder, Anthony Shriver, launched the I'm Into Hire campaign in partnership with the Institute for Corporate Productivity, or I4CP, which is a human capital research firm, and also partnered with Carlos Slim, telecom billionaire from Mexico, to promote the business benefits of hiring people with disabilities. So through the data collection where they surveyed over 230 companies across the United States that have hired participants with IDD, either through Project Search or through Best Buddies, they determined that 84% of adults with developmental disabilities do not have a paid job in the community. And to put that into perspective, 8 out of 10 individuals with developmental disabilities don't have a job and are very eager to contribute. And of the small 16% that do have competitive employment, only 34% have secured a competitive job. So through this study and the research that I4CP pulled, they found 3 very compelling statistics that participants with intellectual and developmental disabilities prove to have the profile of an ideal employee for any company. They are dependable, motivated, and productive. And I know as a hiring manager, and I'm sure many of you who hire staff, those are fantastic qualities that we'd like to see in all employees. And those are qualities that our population exhibits. So there are several compelling business benefits and reasons to hire, such as enhanced customer loyalty, enhanced motivation of existing staff, and we can share the full report afterwards. But the bottom line is that I4CP found that 2 times as many high-performance organizations, which are categorized by the Market Performance Index, where they look at customer satisfaction, revenue growth, market share, they found that those high-performance organizations, or HPOs, actually differentiate for IDD. And that's just a true testament that individuals who are differently abled do drive the bottom line for businesses in any industry. So of course, this report did not go unnoticed, and Best Buddies recruited extensive celebrity support across the nation. And you may notice some amazing Best Buddies supporters and those that really found the message of the I'm Into Hire report compelling, like famous chef Guy Fieri, Carl Lewis, NBA champion Kyrie Irving, beautiful Lee star Lauren Potter, the Shriver family, and of course for anyone who watches House of Cards, Kevin Spacey is of course a huge advocate for our I'm in to Hire campaign. So if you're looking to find out more information about the I'm in to Hire report, which is about 40 pages and really breaks down these statistics and business benefits and reasons, you can go ahead and navigate to the bestbuddiesjobs.org page, where you can download the custom I'm in to Hire report. And you can also pledge your support to this campaign by learning more here. Now, of course, we have our amazing featured guest here, Carolina Puig, who is part of the Best Buddies International staff team. And she's here today, like Philip mentioned, to share a little bit more about her experience with Best Buddies jobs. So I'll shift it over to Caro.
Well, thank you, Andrea. Hi, I am Carolina Puig. As Andrea said and Jessica said, that I'm part of jobs. I'm a participant at Best Buddies International, and I'm the receptionist. And I am in the student of FIU, which stands for Florida International University, if you can hear me. I am answering phones. At Best Buddies, I direct the calls to different departments and persons and assist with special projects. I also take care of sort of mail, keeping the kitchen and conference room nice and clean, and maintaining copier and stocking papers. And then highlights for working with Best Buddies job employment consultants while developing my position. Of course, my employment consultant is Raquel Pargas. She is the best. She's highly motivated and very professional. I can say that I can count on her supporting on all parts of my job experience. My involvement in Best Buddies programs, ambassadors, and citizens is I am involved with citizens program. We do volunteering work, events in the community. We also have social events once a month.
And Gato, can you tell us a little bit about your experience at the annual Best Buddies Leadership Conference in Indiana?
Of course. By 2016 was my first time of leadership conference. It was very good. It was a great experience. I participated in workshop as Jessica because she was in the workshop, and that I helped prepare for interviews for jobs and whole process of applying for a job.
That's awesome. And I remember that you did the pre-employment training services before you started your job. Can you tell us a little about that?
Of course. Pre-employment training is essential to the employment process. It helps me prepare for the different steps of getting a job. It gave me confidence. It helped me comfortable and with process. And I just wanted to add a little something that you guys will understand. There is no I in team, but for Best Buddies, there is a bud in Best Buddies.
That's wonderful, Carolina. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with Best Buddies, and you have such extensive involvements in all parts of the Best Buddies program, from participating in our Ambassadors and Citizens program, which focus on leadership development and friendship, from attending the huge conference in Bloomington, Indiana. And I remember you had to travel there, right?
Yes. I traveled there with the whole group of jobs and participants and consultants, employment consultants, and I'm so excited to be a part of it this year.
That's amazing. Well, we'd love to have you in that conference, and thank you for acting as our guest speaker for the webinar today. Now, with all said, there's of course different ways for you to take action. We're always here and available to field any requests that you may have about the jobs program to help strengthen or support your existing supported employment program. But if you'd like to get more involved with Best Buddies, there are of course avenues to donate or attend national or local events and bike rides, or as we refer to them, challenges, where we fundraise money to donate to our programs and continue building and improving our services. We also have awesome Best Buddies apparel where you can find our merchandise online. Always, we're looking for volunteers for our local and national events, as well as if you yourself were part of the Best Buddies middle schools, high schools, or college chapters. We are working hard to connect our alumni to offer you a continued amazing experience with Best Buddies. And of course, I know we're preaching to the choir here, but advocating for the amazing skills and abilities of our participants with intellectual and developmental disabilities is what will move our entire organization and mission as a whole forward. Best Buddies' goal at the end of the day is to be out of business because the world is such an inclusive place. So with that, we want to open the floor with any questions. And here we have Jessica Patton, our wonderful Director of National Jobs, who's always available for questions as well offline.
Jessica, Andrea, Carolina, thank you so much for that. That was a really wonderful, very focused presentation. You did a great job of walking us through everything that Best Buddies is doing and all of the great opportunities for growth and involvement for our audience. There's two ways that an audience member can ask a question. Either you can type it in the chat box, you can type it in the Q&A box, in which case I'll read it out to everyone. And you can also, if you're joining us by phone, call in a question. Operator, can you walk us through how someone can do that?
Yes, for those of you who have called in, if you'd like to queue up for verbal questions or comments, please press 7 followed by the pound sign on your phone now. Again, 7# to queue up for verbal questions.
All right. So in the meantime, as we're hopefully getting some questions on the phone, I've got my own bunch of questions. But the first one is from Alan, who is asking us, he says that this sounds like a great program, and he really wanted to know if Best Buddies was looking at expanding into Canada, or if there were any organizations that did similar work in Canada.
That's a great question, Alan. We already have friendship programs in Canada. You can find out more by going to bestbuddies.ca. Now, right now, those are our friendship programs, which do include programs for those in schools as well as adults. We're located, our head office is in Toronto. So if you go to bestbuddies.ca, you can get the contact information for the Toronto office. Our executive director is named Stephen Pinnick. We currently do not have jobs located in Canada. So there are most likely agencies similar to Best Buddies operating in Canada. I have to say I'm not 100% knowledgeable about that, but there are project search sites in Canada. So I believe if you go to projectsearch.us, you might be able to find out where those project search sites are located.
Yep, and there's also a few project search sites in the United Kingdom, actually. So, operator, do we have any phone questions?
No phone questions at the moment.
Okay. Well, I've got a bunch of questions. So, I particularly want to circle back to one of the slides that you had, the one about the young man who worked at that little guitar store. And I know that, small businesses with, 50 or fewer employers is a huge segment of the job market. And I know that things are really inconsistent in terms of small businesses hiring and retaining people with disabilities. So I wanted to ask both of you about, what ideas do you have for a small business who'd be interested in onboarding a talented person with a disability? Or, how would you address any of the fears about liability that a small business, this mom and pop shop, might have about it?
So Philip, that's a great question, and in fact, we have had several of our staff people, we network with all of our 18 offices and talk about challenges and best practices, and liability comes up often. When we talk to the small business owners, we let them know that people with IDD don't have any higher rates of workers' compensation claims, accidents on the job, so their liability should not increase. There have been times where, dependent upon what's going on, the type of business, whether there's the possibility of risk or there's confidentiality, where they might be worried about a job coach and the liability of partnering with someone outside of their business. And we also let them know about how our staff are covered by our liability insurance. We find that when we work with small businesses, obviously, if they have a connection with IDD, they usually just get it, and they're able to identify ways that a person with IDD could contribute. But I remember working with a very small family-owned business in California, and they were able to identify through job carving several tasks that needed to be filled that they didn't have full-time staff to do. So, when you are working with small businesses, you are really helping them find those little things that are kind of taking away time from their other staff and helping them be more effective. These are small things that sometimes fall through the cracks that they may not even realize are reducing the bottom line, resulting in less than stellar customer service. So, in our experience, small businesses are great employers, especially because we're able to have really close contact with the employer, the owner, as well as the managers, which keeps the employer really engaged.
Wonderful. And we have a question from Julia Massey, who is asking, is there an age that participants age out of the friendship program or the job or ambassador programs?
Our participants, the minimum age to work in the jobs program is 18, and we serve individuals until they decide they want to retire. I was working with a gentleman in Los Angeles who was about 65, and he still wanted to work. So there's no age range for jobs beyond being over the age of 18. But we start with our participants when they're young. Our program starts in middle school, and we grow with them and they grow with us. So we have participants who go from middle school to high school, and as long as their school has the Best Buddies chapter, they're able to continue to participate. The Best Buddies High School partnership sticks with a participant through the transition age. And then when they age out of the school, there are college chapters. So even if they're not affiliated or going to school at a college, if they're college age, we can match them up with college students that have chapters. And then we have an adult program. So people of any age can be matched in a one-to-one friendship. We also have a really exciting pilot program in elementary schools. So eventually we will be a provider of services, friendship, starting at a very early age, and then the natural progression is employment forever.
Wow. That sounds really great. Operator, do we have any phone questions?
No phone questions on queue.
So I want to circle back to one thing. So I have a whole bunch of questions from this great webinar, but I want to circle back to the celebrity piece. And the picture you had up there had some really, high power, some recognizable folks. You had Kevin Spacey, you had Guy Fieri, you had Lauren Potter, and a few others holding up the big "I'm into hire" sign. So I'm really curious, how did you get to the point of getting, let's be clear, American culture is obsessed with celebrity, and if people see a celebrity endorsing a worthy cause or bringing attention to a challenge that's impacting our community, people will notice that. So I'm curious, how did Best Buddies go about recruiting these celebrities to be champions for the I'm Into Hire campaign?
That's another really great question, Philip, and we're really lucky. Best Buddies founder, Anthony Kennedy Shriver, is a very well-connected individual, and he has used his personal connections to build this organization up to what it is today. So Anthony has, compelling mission and personal ties with folks that are interested in this mission. We have a whole entire team that works on engaging celebrities and media. We use the data that we had from the I4CP report, the I'm In to Hire campaign, to really bring attention to this. There are individuals that we work with who have, again, those close connections to people with IED, so their family members. We just figure out who is going to be connected, and we approach them and bring them on board.
Gotcha. Which is my way of shamelessly plugging another connection shared between Respectability and Best Buddies. As some people who are on our webinar may know, this Tuesday is the new season of the Emmy Award-winning television show Born This Way, featuring the lives and loves of young people with Down syndrome. We actually have a double episode special on Tuesday, May 16th, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. I encourage everyone who has cable to go to A&E, watch it. Respectability will be hosting a Twitter chat with some folks from A&E and the team. And I know that and something that's great is, and why Born This Way is connected to Best Buddies, is they did a great PSA that's been appearing on whenever Best Buddies, whenever Born This Way episodes are shown. So there's lots of great connections and lots of great ways to leverage the attention of cultural institutions such as television to advance the cause of employment for people with disabilities. Operator, do we have any phone questions?
No phone questions on queue.
All right. Well, I'm just going to keep asking questions for the next few minutes before we wrap up. So going back and talking about the friendship piece, you mentioned that some of the friendship chapters are organized around both. You're starting to look at elementary and high school. But I'm curious if there's anybody who is, say, a college student who's really passionate about people with disabilities and building friendships. How would they go about founding a new chapter of Best Buddies?
So if there's anybody that is on this call or knows someone that would like to start a chapter, they would reach out to Best Buddies. So they would go to bestbuddies.org and they would go to Find Programs. And there they'll find the state that they're located in, and they would be able to get the contact information. If we have a state office, and if you remember from the slide that we showed towards the beginning, we don't have state offices in all states. We're working on it. But they'd be able to click the state, and if there is no state office, there'll be contact information for a Best Buddies International staff person who oversees the expansion efforts there. And you could take a look. The college student may not be aware that there already is a Best Buddies chapter at their school, and if they are really motivated and really active and want to be a leader, they can work with that local office to open up a program. And, something that I actually think is really fun, Philip, we have that partnership with MGM Resorts International. I mentioned the Mirage Hotel and Casino. Best Buddies doesn't just stick with our participants from, early age elementary school through the rest of their life, but we do work with our student leaders and the volunteers. So MGM Resorts International, that partnership began because we connected through some job development efforts with someone in HR there, and it turns out she was a chapter leader at her university. So as Andrea mentioned, we're trying to engage our alumni. The folks that were engaged with Best Buddies when they were young, we want to continue to engage them. They were passionate about it when they were in school. They're still passionate about it now. So we're looking to keep people engaged because those student leaders are going to be the folks that are hiring tomorrow.
Very good point. And Julia Massey had a follow-on question about what age does the College Friendship Club end and when does the adult group begin? And how do you find an adult group in the area for your friendship question?
So the age that a person would kind of join the friendship program, college friendship programs would be around college age. So as students are transitioning 18 to 21, 22 in the school district, they may continue to be matched with a high school student, but as they get closer to that 20, 21, 22 age, we would start to transition them into a college program because their peers are going to be in college around the age that most folks graduate from college, 24, 25. They would then be transitioned into our adult program. Now these friendships, they're mutually beneficial, they're organic, and they expand beyond what's happening within our chapters. So if someone becomes a friend with another person in high school, there's no reason for them to stop being friends, even if they move apart. You know, someone goes off to college and the other person stays in the same city, etc. But if they were looking to be matched with a new buddy, it would kind of follow the age range, school to college. And Andrea just actually pointed something out, that there is a story about one of our participants. They became friends in the school chapter, stayed friends over the course of adulthood, and then with what we call our peer buddy, the person without IDD got married, her buddy was in her bridal party. So it's a lifelong friendship is what we are fostering with Best Buddies.
Wonderful. Well, we are out of time for the day, unless there's any final phone questions.
No questions on queue.
Was that a yes or a no?
I'm sorry, there's no questions.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anybody. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar to talk about Best Buddies Jobs Program, the difference and friendship and skills. Thank you especially to Carolina for joining us and talking about her experiences. We don't often get to have self-advocates really talk about their experiences in some of the model programs that we highlight for webinars. So thank you so much for being on our presentation today. Thank you to Jessica. Thank you to Andrea. Everybody who's participated today, I will email you a PDF copy of the PowerPoint, and if there's any accessibility issues with that, just email me back. My email address is philip.p@respectabilityusa.org. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget, tune in. Born This Way, new season, Emmy Award-winning show starts Tuesday, May 16th, 9 p.m., and join us online and contribute to the conversation. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
The moderator has ended the conference.